Talking is my love language. I don't like when people touch me. I don't like when people talk behind my back. I don't like when people give me gifts. I don't like when people compliment me. I think talking to somebody else is like my love language. I don't know other love languages. Talk like acts of service. I like that. Like talking with me is like an act of service. I think that's my love language. Talking to you, or like helping you out. But I hate when people compliment me. If someone says my outfit looks good, then I burn that outfit because no, no, you can't say that to somebody. What if that person has a mental breakdown? What if that was my 13th reason? What if that was my 13th reason? What if? Today's episode is called Infeminine Men. This episode has been. I was going to release an episode last year called I Hate Women. No, yeah, I think that's what the episode was going to be called. And it was going it was going to be called that. Not because I really hate women, because I don't hate anybody. That's a lie. I hate some people. But it's going to be called I Hate Women because growing up, I could not make friends with a lot of people. And the only group of people I can be friends with were the girls. And I was like, no, I had like let me tell you my friendship journey. I think I've told you this story before, but in primary in like pre-K, I had one friend, and she was a girl. Like we were friends, and then in primary school, I had a male friend and a female friend. Like that was my friend group. I had a friend group, and then I failed primary school. Obviously, I did last week's episode. It's called this like my dyslexic episode last week. You know why I failed primary. You know why I failed primary school. I did not know then, but I was dyslexic, and like I got really low scores in English. So like they were like, oh, he has to redo primary school because he can't read. But like we switched schools because my auntie was like, he's never gonna repeat. Not in my house. He's smart. You guys have a problem. He only failed by 1 point. You guys cannot let him move to the next class and improve him in the next class. But I only failed by 1 point. But they did not want to keep me in that class. They wanted to keep me in the same class. But my auntie was like, oh no, you're not gonna stay in that school. So we switched schools. And when I went to this new school, everybody hated me for some odd reason. I think I know now the title of this episode. That's why everybody hated me. Um, I'm gonna start from there. This is the very first thing I remember. I could not make friends in this new school to save my life. The only friend I had in this new school was my cousin because my cousin went to the same school. I tried my possible best to be friends with every single person. Eventually, I became friends with like one person at the end of like the school year, and it was the girl that was sitting next to me, and that was the only person who chose to like speak to me and be friends with me openly. Other people ignored me, obviously. Um, I tried to be friends with the boys, but I never played football, so because my cousins were like beating me at home, and I was like, I'm not playing that. I'm not playing something that will make other people beat me up. And I was really, I had like a very bad, violent tendency. I tend to fight with people for no reason if I got too angry. So I like chose to like never play sports because if I lost, I knew I was gonna fight with somebody, and I was not gonna fight in public. I was only gonna fight in my grandma's house. Um, then I moved to secondary school. When I moved to secondary school, I made the a deal with myself that I was never gonna be friends with any girl in my secondary school because girls. You think I'm joking? That girls are evil, and I'm not gonna be friends with girls. So it's like when I was friends with that girl in my primary school, everybody made fun of me because I was friends with that girl in my primary school. So I was like, I'm not gonna be friends with any girl in my primary school, in my secondary school. So I moved to secondary school, and with my luck, the first person who spoke to me, because I told you 2 episodes ago that I was crying the first day of secondary school, and that's true. I was crying the first day of secondary school, but when I was like really silent. Everybody was so quiet. The class was so quiet. That was the only day that my class was quiet. First day of school because nobody knew each other. Then the person was sitting next to me. Her name is Lydia. she came up to me and she was like, "Hello, my name is Lydia." She like introduced herself, and then the guy sitting next to me, his name was like Calvin, and he was like, "Hi, my name is Calvin." So so I spoke to these two people. I was like, "Okay, I think we're gonna like change the rules. I can't be friends with girls and boys. We're gonna try and make this work." So my whole secondary school career was like me being. I think, I think this is like my best friendship career journey because I was friends with both groups. I was friends with the girls and I was friends with the guys, and I was friends with I was friends with every single person because I was very social to an extent. I was like social enough that people who knew me knew I was social, but I was social enough that people who knew me from home. So like this was when I got split personality disorder. I'm diagnosing myself with split personality disorder because I was like a different person at home from who I was at school. At school, I was a very lively person, but everybody thought I was quiet at home. And at home, I was very noisy, and everybody thought I was quiet at school because everybody thought, oh, he never gets anybody, nobody ever comes to visit him, so he doesn't have friends. But and at school, because of the story, I can't remember the stories I told, but I told stories. I was a storyteller. I am like I was a good liar. If anything happened during the weekend or in my house, I was coming back to school and telling the whole class. Like everybody sat down at like break time and I told stories. I can remember telling the story. I know 2 episodes ago I told you about the person who lived in the house who took care of us. I told a story about that person. I told a story of that person so much to my friends that my friends knew the person's name. None of my friends ever met any of my family members, but back then, I don't know now. Obviously, now they're like grown adults, but back then, I think they could name all of my aunties' names and all of my cousins because I said what happened in my auntie's house. Then I'll say what happened in Auntie A's house. Now I'm like better. I like my aunties are anonymous. I'm not using their real names. Like I can say what happened in Auntie A's house, what happened in Auntie B's house, like what Auntie A and Auntie B said about Auntie C that is in America. I told I was telling my family business to the whole school. I told then I like when I like what happened with my parents. I made that story. Oh, I don't know. I'm meant to be a director because the way I told that story, you would think I had the worst life on the planet. I told I told people. Then when I then when I get home, I don't know. I don't know why people thought I was quiet. Maybe because I knew how to like fool everybody. I have never been a quiet person to save my life. 2 weeks ago, I was talking to my cousin, or 3 weeks ago now, and he was like, "Oh, you're very quiet." I was like, "No, I'm not. I don't know why people have this misconception that I'm like very quiet. I am the most noisy person I know. I just choose to play with the way I think people view me." And becoming friends with the girls, I knew people were gonna be like, "Oh, he's very effeminate. He's only hanging out with girls." So I hang out with the guys. So it was very weird because whenever I fought, all of the girls were like, "Yeah!" I know on this podcast I've said I don't fight. I don't fight. I beat people up. I know I've said that line before. I don't fight. I beat people up. Nobody ever fought with me because everybody knew I was gonna beat them up. Like now, you might see me and think I can't fight. I still have the dog in me. I still have that dog in me because let me tell you what happened one day in my class. This I move topics way too much, but this person I was fighting with this person because I can't remember what happened, but I am like because I fought with my cousins a lot because I was very insecure as a child and because I thought my cousins were better than me and they were like obviously better than me, but when I was a child I could not like understand when my cousins were better than me. They were better than everything. They were better at everything than me. They were smarter. They were they had everything they wanted. So I was really jealous of my cousins. So whenever I fought with them, I tried as much as possible to hurt them the most. Like the like I tried as much as possible to hurt them with like everything I had in me. Like if we were friends, I was going to like hang out with them. But like if we were fighting, I was going to make sure I leave a scar. So I started like plucking eyes. So like imagine your index finger and your middle finger, like curve it and like try and like pluck your eye out. That's why I was into my cousins. Whenever I fought, not just for fun. Whenever I fought. So the first time I fought with like this person in school, when I found out this move, I did that to that person and I punched the person in the eyeball, and the person started seeing double for like the whole week. No, for like the whole day. Like it was, so we had like evening classes. So the person saw double for like the whole evening classes till the next morning. And when I came the next morning, the person's eye was red. But yeah. And then somebody else, I like broke the. I did not discriminate when I was a kid. I beat but women and men, old and young, group and single. I was beating everybody up because I was growing up. My auntie told me, when it's a group, if it's a group, this is auntie three. I've not spoken about auntie three a lot, but auntie three said, if it's a group, look for one person and beat them up, because everybody thought I was being bullied in school. If you ask some people, they might say I was a bully. I don't think I was a bully. I think I was just defending myself from people who were making fun of me. But whatever. But I never fought with one. No, I fought with one person that beat me up. And that was the person I spoke about 2 weeks ago. The person in the group, like the popular group, because the person was like the whole secondary school career we were pit against each other because we had similar look, if that makes sense. A lot of people said we look alike. Now we don't look alike, but when we're younger, a lot of people said we looked alike. And then when I gained weight, that's when we officially stopped looking like each other. Because if you saw us when we started secondary school, we looked similar, because the only differentiation between me and X or that person was my lips and the dot on my in the side of my face and the person's height. That was the only differentiation. But the other things were like very similar. We had like similar interests. In a way, I knew we're never gonna be best friends because we were just way too similar to be super close. At the end of the day, my best friend was like a very different person, and we're not friends anymore. And I did an episode. If you want to listen to my relationship with my best friend, listen to I fear I will I fear I will end up alone. Listen to that episode. Um, so I dreaded making friends with like females because I was like, I'm not gonna be friends with girls. Everybody's gonna think I'm effeminate. I was like, oh, look at yourself. I swear, I thought I was like fooling every single person when I was like acting hard, but people could see. Young me could not know that people could see, but now I can see that people can see. So like, pretending to be who you're not is it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I've tried. I've tried for years, 50 years. I'm almost 79. Yeah, I know this episode is not like very deep. I don't want to go very deep because I still fear it. I'm not really recovered from it. But there's the first episode on this topic. Um, I'm gonna talk about this topic again in the future in a very serious way. But yeah, um, then when I moved. I always speak like I'm about to end the episode, but I'm not about to end the episode. When I moved to the country, like the UK, I was determined to not be friends with anybody because I'm not gonna make nobody's gonna make fun of me. Not even a friendly joke. I don't want to hear it. So I was not friends with anybody. I'm always alone. People are like, oh, you're always alone. I have friends. They're up here in my head. With my split personality disorder, okay, honestly, I'm joking. I don't have a split personality disorder, but sometimes I believe I do because I talk to myself like there's 7 people in my head. Because growing up, I don't know. I don't know. I ask myself like there's seven people in my head. Mostly, it's only three people at the time. So me, myself, and I. Like, we're mostly like the people who are talking about stuff. Like when something happens, when I'm like scrolling on the internet and I see something happening, I'm like, oh, me, this is what's happening. And myself will be like, oh, why is this going on? Then I will be like, I don't even know why that person said that. Like it's a full three-way conversation. It's not just me because I have like it's just really good. It's like a diverse train of thought in my brain. Um, I don't know what this episode is, but I've enjoyed recording every single episode that's coming out for like the next couple of weeks. If you did not know, the last three episodes I've came out for the last 3 weeks were recorded in the same day in the same like span of 2 hours. Um, if talking was a sport, I'm pretty sure I would win. Alex Earl, no, it's, Alex Cooper has nothing on me. I can talk for hours, and I can talk for hours about good things. Also, I'm talking about this. I don't like using curse words, and it's not like a moral thing. It's just I was never raised using curse words, and I recently started using curse words unknowingly, and whenever I like find myself using curse words, it makes me uncomfortable because I'm like, I'm not this person. I don't believe in saying the N word or saying like the C word or saying like the F word or saying the B word. I like talking clean. Um, will I use from time to time? I will because the media I consume they use a lot. Not a lot, but like a lot of like they use it a lot in the media I consume because TikTok is the media I consume, and the videos I watch on the For You page are like very random that you don't know how the person speaks. Um, I saw a video. No, I've been following a lot of like smart black people on TikTok, and I'm not trying to be racist here, but I love following smart black people. I also love following smart white people and smart Asian people, but I started off by following smart Asian people, and recently I've been seeing a lot of like smart like black people on Book Talk. So I've been following a lot of them. It's been really fun. My fellow people, I have been really enjoying following black people on the internet. Again, this week I read The Myth of Sisyphus. It's a really good book. I know you might say, "Oh, if you recorded all of these episodes the same day, how did you read three books in 1 week?" The first book from like the week prior was I honestly I read three books this week. I've not finished two of the three. I finished only one. I'm reading two more. So yeah, whatever. But that's a book I read this week, and I'm pretty sure I've read 25 books this year already, and we have 25 more to go. I'll count them up and tally. I'll tally them up and see. I don't know what tally means. I'm gonna check the meaning of that word. But I'll count them up and see how many books I've read so far, and I'll tell you on next week's episode. Um, yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm just waiting for it to get to 20 minutes so I can leave. Because the contract, I signed a new contract with a new like agency, and it has to be at least 20 minutes. Before I used to say at least 15 minutes, but it has to be at least 20 minutes. So I'm just gonna keep on talking. Oh, try and let me go. Trying to keep my eyes closed. Trying to before that day. Okay, bye. Never even talk, speak.